CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon and thank you for joining us. I'm Lauren Pastrana. Welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at today's top stories. We begin with breaking news. Strong words from the Broward sheriff at a press conference just moments ago, where we learn new information in the homicides in Tamarac on Sunday. Sheriff Gregory admitted that deputies and detectives failed to act on warning signs leading up to the killings, acknowledging that law enforcement could have done more to prevent the tragedy. He said 7 deputies with the Broward Sheriff's Office have been placed on administrative leave.
We fell short on this one. We fell short in a response in terms of how some of the patrol personnel had documented certain facts related to calls going back to December. It's clear that some of the investigative practices conducted by detectives was also a shortfall. And so as we're continuing to gather more facts on this, I'm going to end up back in front of this camera. Make no mistake about it, because I want to make sure this community continues to trust us and know that when we get this stuff wrong, people are going to be held accountable, and I'm going to step up and own every bit of it.
CBS News Miami's Joan Murray has more on the triple murder and kidnapping in Tamarac early Sunday morning.
Sources tell me that 4 out of the 5 suspended deputies with pay work out of this office. 1 was from another district office. The 5 suspended with pay include a lieutenant, 2 sergeants, and 2 deputies. Now, you may remember it was this past Sunday when this horrific scene unfolded in the Plum Bay neighborhood of Tamarac. That is when deputies responded to reports of gunfire. They found a man dead on the patio. He was later identified as being the father of Mary Gingles. Mary Gingles was later found dead, as well as a Good Samaritan who lived across the street. She had run for help after BSO deputies say her accused estranged husband, Nathan Gingles, went on this rampage, killing her, this Good Samaritan, Andrew Farron, and also Mary Gingles' father, identified as David Ponzer. Now, from what we have learned, this investigation is ongoing into the actions of the deputies on that day on Sunday. What happened from the beginning to the end, and that is all being reviewed. All we can tell you at this point is that the 5 are on leave while this investigation continues, but it is paid leave. There's going to be a lot more on this unfolding throughout the day, and we'll bring you the latest starting at 5 o'clock. Reporting in Tamarac, Joan Murray, CBS News, Miami.
Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
Taking a live look outside right now. Sunshine has returned after some heavy downpours last night, and despite the warmth today, we are tracking our next cold front. Next Weather Chief Meteorologist Ivan Cabrera joins us now. Ivan, what can we expect for the rest of the week?
I'm just glad we have a next cold front here. I mean, we've gone through the entire month almost here with temperatures in the low to mid 80s. Not one day below normal. We're going to fix that, though, towards the end of the week and heading into Friday. That hasn't changed. The forecast still looks good for that front. Beneficial drought-denting rain, I would say. Not busting yet yesterday, but that was some good rain to get in on across South Florida here. So warm and dry. You've certainly felt that if you've been outside. The cold front arrives tomorrow, but the cold air is behind it, and it won't get here really until Thursday night. So don't expect the actual cool temperatures for tomorrow. I still think we'll make a run at 80 degrees. And then we have the coolest temperatures since January coming in for Friday, as we've been talking about. Split weekend. Saturday looks great still. Plenty of sunshine and very comfortable temperatures. Sunday we'll have to introduce again some showers in the forecast, and I'll show you what we're talking about there. As far as temperatures right now, upper 70s at the Keys, but look at the numbers in central and northern Florida. Orlando just dropped into the 70s. They were about the mid 80s just a couple of hours ago. So the cold air continues to push to the south, but right now it's still over North Florida. That will get in here. We won't have highs in the 50s, but lows in the 50s certainly. And then we have to get through this batch of weather here, which is continuing to weaken. This has been the trend really over the last week. Never expected this to become a big rainmaker for us. It looks good for Tampa right now, but on Next Weather Rain Tracker, you'll be able to see the progression. it just falls apart because all the energy and the ingredients that are making this are headed up north. So it's kind of leaving this behind. And by the time the front gets here, it'll arrive rather quietly. No complaints there. But watch on the close-up here for tonight. Pretty quiet. And then there's the front tomorrow. You hardly notice that it moves in, except a wind direction here. And then, of course, we'll feel the difference as we head through a Thursday night and then heading into a Friday. As the front comes in, just a slight chance of a shower. I think 10 to 20% would about cover it. And then we're golden for the rest of the week and into the upcoming weekend. Look at these numbers here. Temperatures finally below normal for a change. 80 tomorrow, I still think, again. And then it's just 70s. We're coasting through the early part of next week. And we'll do that with low humidity as well. It's been a little sticky today, so the feels like numbers have been right around 88 degrees. So that is going to change with this big drop in humidity and the big drop in temperature. There's your Friday morning. Still no change here. Looking at upper 50s widespread across South Florida. Next, with a 7-day forecast will feature again that cool down, and then heading into a Saturday, mid 70s, a little bit milder in the morning, not as cool. And then the rain chances coming back on Sunday with 30% coverage as a disturbance tries to move in from the Gulf, and that'll give us some good coverage here, possibly by Monday with highs in the 70s.
Ivan, thank you. President Donald Trump is in Doral right now. This is video of his motorcade arriving at his golf course earlier today after landing at Miami International Airport. President Trump will head to the Faena Hotel in Miami Beach, where he'll be meeting with a Saudi-backed investment group. He's on the program to speak between 5 and 6. This comes as the U.S. is working with Saudi Arabia to bring about an end to the war in Ukraine. Saudi Arabia rejected a Trump call to redevelop Gaza, displacing Palestinians. Meanwhile, in the nation's capital, thousands of federal government employees have been given pink slips in the first month of the Trump administration. The president and his Doge chief, billionaire Elon Musk, are defending those cuts in their first joint interview. CBS News Miami's Natalie Brand has more.
You're still doing it.
In a joint interview with Fox News, President Trump and Elon Musk defended efforts to downsize the federal government.
What all we're really trying to do here is restore the will of the people through the president. And what we're finding is that there's an unelected bureaucracy.
The White House insists that Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, is advising agencies, but that final decisions on who gets cut rest with agency leaders or secretaries. And those cuts have created confusion, like at the USDA, where CBS News confirms some veterinarians and animal health technicians working on the bird flu outbreak were accidentally fired. The agency said it's now working to rescind the dismissal letters.
What do we want? Justice!
Outside the CDC in Atlanta, protesters sounded off against cuts impacting more than 1,000 newer employees there. Democratic lawmakers worry about potential impact to the public, especially with cuts to agencies like the FAA.
These are really important jobs to the current system, and the current system has to keep functioning.
In the Fox News interview, President Trump insisted benefits such as Social Security are safe.
Other than this fraud or something, we're going to find it's going to be strengthened, but won't be touched. Medicare, Medicaid, none of that stuff is going to be touched.
Nothing.
Late Tuesday, a federal judge ruled the court could not immediately block Doge's efforts to access federal computer systems without clear evidence of imminent irreparable harm. But she acknowledged the seriousness of allegations from states filing the lawsuit. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
A South Florida family is holding on to hope for closure after their teen daughter was gunned down in Fort Lauderdale. CBS News Miami's Morgan Reiner has the latest from the Fort Lauderdale Police Department.
The teen, just 16 years old, and her family told CBS News Miami that she was an innocent bystander in a fight that turned deadly. The shooting happened around 7:30 Monday evening in the 1500 block of Northwest 8th Avenue. Sharday Heller says her daughter, 16-year-old Tanasia Atterbury, seen on the right in this TikTok video, was killed in that shooting. Neighbors provided us with video and say it all started when two girls began fighting. The family says that fight was over a boy. Atterbury's family says she was standing in the area of the fight and was not involved when a guy jumped in and started shooting. Atterbury was rushed to a local hospital where she later died. Her family tells us she was the life of the party, a respectful young woman who loved going to school and had dreams of becoming a rapper.
I see my baby laying there, and I didn't know my baby was shot. I had to pick my baby up until I realized she was shot. And she said, Mama, okay, Mom. I'm okay. Why y'all took my baby? She only 16 years old. Y'all had the right to shoot my baby.
And this morning, police are still searching for the shooter. They're asking anyone with information to please come forward. In Fort Lauderdale, Morgan Reiner, CBS News, Miami.
A decision about the controversial Miami-Dade Incinerator was postponed at the Miami-Dade Commission meeting this morning. The panel will now take up the issue again in 120 days. Protesters from Miramar and nearby cities showed up in force, trying to convince commissioners not to build at the old Opa-locka West Airport site. For now, the county will continue shipping its garbage out on trains. When we come back, the clock is ticking. If you want to sign your child up for free VPK, what you need to know about the upcoming deadlines, whether you're in Broward or Miami-Dade counties. Welcome back to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Canadian investigators say the black box flight recorders from the Delta Airlines plane that crashed and flipped upside down in Toronto have been sent to a lab for analysis. CBS News Miami's Tom Hansen spoke to some of the 80 survivors about the terrifying moments.
Survivors of Monday's terrifying plane crash say they are still in disbelief.
It hits you. I'm in a plane crash. I'm in an actual plane crash.
Come on. When the plane stopped, passenger Matt Cunningham sent his family a simple message. Plane crash, please pray.
Talking to my dad today, he said those 15 minutes from the time he got that text until he got the next one with some photos that I took away from the plane were 15 tough minutes.
Canada's Transportation Safety Board said Tuesday the plane's black box flight recorders were sent to a lab for analysis.
The crew on board the plane, our Endeavour crew, performed heroically, but also as expected. This is what we train for.
In an exclusive interview with CBS Mornings Wednesday, the CEO of Delta Airlines said the flight crew was experienced.
All of these pilots train for these conditions. They fly under all kinds of conditions at all the airports in which we operate.
As for Cunningham, after waiting at the airport for hours, he rented a car and started driving back to his family outside Minneapolis.
What's the first thing you're going to say to your family?
Nothing. I'm just going to hold him.
And Cunningham reunited with his family late last night. He says that his kids made him a welcome home cake. Officials are still investigating the cause of the crash, but they do say that communications between the pilots and the airport tower appeared to be normal as the plane approached. Tom Hansen, CBS News, Toronto, Canada.
Time is running out to enroll your child in Miami-Dade County's voluntary pre-kindergarten program lottery. You have until March 7th to apply. More than 200 schools offer VPK for children who turn 4 before September 1st of this year. We met up with Miami-Dade school officials at Eugenia B. Thomas K-8 Center, where they told us about the advantages to an early education. For children in Broward County, there is no deadline to apply for VPK. For more information on how to apply in both districts, head to cbsmiami.com. And that's CBS News Miami's Quickcast. I'm Lauren Pastrana. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS Miami.